here we are. So we have 6 checks, 5, the green Zerg at the top left. Tal'Darim Altar is going to be the map. Huge map. I'm looking forward to seeing some good play here. However, Polt Prime, aka Optimus, has a really good advantage on this map. That sweet spot is in a direct line over from his natural, and we may see him just siege up that natural with his 2-base timing push, and that could be the end for ViBe. I hesitate to call it prematurely, but I hope that ViBe has something to deal with this and he doesn't prematurely ejaculate everything.
ViBe picked this map though, so yes, you did
happen.
mention that there's a positional imbalance a little bit because of the distance between the natural of Optimus and that sweet spot.
ViBe would have loved this map a lot more if Optimus had spawned on the southern end, or even better if he had spawned in the bottom right hand end. So it was kind of I would say it's like a 33% chance that you get a bad spawn on this map. I'm doing the math real quick. I might be really wrong, but it's something like that.
Unfortunately, it did happen, so let's see if Optimus is able to take advantage of that. Like you were alluding to, I do believe we're going to see something similar. Hellion play into Tank Marine, and then he is going to try to go ahead and siege up underneath that natural for a little while. But if ViBe can establish pretty good creep spread and take a third relatively early, he may be able to mass enough lanes to save himself.
He tried to do that on Metalopolis. It didn't really work out too well for him. I honestly feel like ViBe, I hesitate to say this, but I feel like he may be a little outclassed by Polt. And yes, we've only seen one game so far, so it may be an early, conclusion or an early analysis here. But I feel like ViBe should just go for some kind of an all-in, Roach Baneling all-in, or Baneling bust, Eco Baneling bust, or some combination thereof. Because I think hitting Polt Prime when he's least expecting it is his best chance at winning. However, having said that, these guys are Korean, Polt is, and he's probably well-versed in any kind of a cheese attempt.
And I just want to take a quick moment. I apologize to step away from the game for a second, but people in chat were asking when Team Liquid was going to be on Team Arena. They were scheduled for this week. They had scheduling difficulties, so it's Gosu. Very, very nice, jumped in and agreed to play, so we do very much appreciate that. We are going
and they
to have,
almost won, too.
Yeah, it was really, really good set.
It was really close.
5-4. That last game was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we are going to have Dignitas next week. That is confirmed, so Dignitas versus Fnatic, and then the winner of that will be playing Liquid the week after. They are going to go ahead and schedule in advance, so the winner of Dignitas versus Fnatic will be playing Liquid the week after that, so have no fears.
All right, so good little news ticker right there from Cat's Pajamas.
Bam!
we need, you know what we need while we're broadcasting? A la ESPN, we need like a news ticker at the bottom of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that'd be really cool.
It'd be cool. Hey,
the next step towards the ESPN. I like it.
Nice. Towards ESPN, exactly. So we do have Optimus here going for the factory at the front door. It looks like he's gearing up for that same 2-base style play. Gonna open up with factory, most likely following this up with a command center. And we're just gonna be looking for that dreaded 2-base push. And what will ViBe do to stop that? Having said that, however, ViBe does have a little bit more difficulties on this map dealing with the Hellion Harass. That natural expansion of the creep takes a long time to spread over to the choke at the natural, so it's very difficult to use that Spine Crawler Evo Chamber Wall to protect against Hellions. Hellions have the option here of running either into the natural or skipping the natural and going straight into the main, so we'll see what ViBe does to deal with that.
And ViBe is going with a similar strategy to what we saw last time. He actually bypassed Gas in favor of a little bit earlier Spine Crawler, but he's not actually dropping down 2 Spine Crawlers before Gas this time. He's going to get that up a little bit earlier. I suspect that he's going to play minimal defense against Hellions for a while and then go into Baneling speed and just try to overwhelm with Ling Baneling again, but he certainly has a lot of opportunities available to him. Looks like we already see a Tech Lab being put down for Optimus. It's going on as barracks, so we may see a switch into Blue Flame Hellion here in just a second.
Yeah, and here comes the first two Hellions right now with 2 more on the way. 1 Spine Crawler from ViBe is actually pretty optimal on this map. You can't really place a second one at any spot that really helps you out all that much. And I like the Spine Crawler placement he's already got going down right now, but he's going to get a second one just in case. 2 Queens already at the natural front door, and it looks like they will deflect the Hellions for now. So ViBe, just his last game, holds off the early Hellion Harass. We'll see if he holds off the 4 Hellions, but what we really want to see is that 2-base timing push.
Yeah, certainly. And Orbital Command already being added to the next command center as well, so he's going to be able to abuse 1 base for a while until he feels secure enough to be able to move in after that. There's already a pretty good wall, though, 4-5, and it looks like it's going to drive away the Hellions. 1 Hellion actually goes down without inflicting any damage, and ViBe has already connected the creep in between his bases with that extra Queen's energy that he had laying around. So pretty darn good play out of him. He is indeed getting up Baneling speed after that, so he's going to be a little bit slower to tech. He's going to layer a little bit quicker this time around. I believe he put a Baneling nest before layer.
He has Baneling speed already?
No. I said last time I believe he put
okay.
up layer after he started the Baneling nest. This time it looks like he's putting it up beforehand, so we'll probably see a very, very quick transition into Baneling speed.
Yeah, he's getting Baneling Nest right now, so he knows that that threat of the 2-base timing push is there, and he's going to need that Baneling and the Baneling speed upgrade as soon as possible. It almost even looks like he doesn't even have time to get Spire up, simply because that 2-base timing push is so strong from Polt that you don't really even have time to rush that Spire as most Zergs would like to do. So he's got to get those Banelings out. He's got to make sure that his defense is held secure at the front door. And, I mean, we'll see if he's going to be able to pull this off. I almost feel like getting that third hatchery is a little bit detrimental as well prior to that 2-base timing push, because that's 300 minerals that you really need for forces to hold off that attack.
And you were actually,
like
yeah, the Spine Crawler here on the high ground is going to be able to pick off units that are trying to move up here underneath the sweet spot. But you were absolutely right before, and I was actually wrong. ViBe is, or I'm sorry, Polt on the other hand didn't actually want to transition this over into Blue Flame Hellions or anything like that. He was just going to use that for tanks after the fact and just gear up for that big Marine Marauder plus tank timing push.
Yeah.
And I love the inclusion of a couple of Marauders in here as well. It actually really, really helps against absorbing Baneling hits. It helps against even just a couple of General Zerglings. It takes so long to kill a Marauder. So I like the inclusion of a couple of Marauders in this composition.
It's just a little helpful to have. We've seen, I believe it's Polt who likes a tank in versus Protoss. He always gets like the flagship tank, but he doesn't get siege mode for it. It's just a random tank in his bio ball.
Yeah.
Very interesting playstyle from Polt, and you know, it's just Korean playstyle, man. They play a very aggressive, very interesting style of StarCraft 2. My cousin, in fact, secured a Korean account. Can't say how, black market stuff, but I just watched him play last night on the Korean server, and when he plays on the Korean server, literally all they do, cheese McGee's all day long. Macro is actually the unordinary style of playing, so it's very interesting. It's a very high octane server to play on, and I don't know how I'd be able to do it without losing at least half my head full of hair. But yeah, it's very interesting. It does look like, though, that Polt isn't pushing out quite yet. This is around the time when he pushed out in the Metalopolis game. So this time around, taking a little bit more time, but it's actually smart because the rush distance is so close. He needn't actually push out until right about now, I would say. So is he doing it? Is he doing it? No, still waiting.
Well, he's got a little while before he's able to start realizing the production off of these, off of all four of these barracks. He is now finally queuing on those, so that's about the time for the timing push. Going to make his way out. Our first mutas are just popping up at the moment, though.
So strong and so big for only 11 minutes in the game.
Yes, it is. But we do have the third hatchery, at least a little bit reasonably. Oh no! It looks like okay.
Call.
Nope, they didn't end up moving over those forces. They're going to try and pick off a couple of rogue Marines here and stop a few reinforcements from coming in, but it looks like Polt's not going to be able to pick those off in mass for a little while.
Actually, ViBe here is looking a lot better than he did in the last game. His creep is spread out to the middle of the map. You were hinting at this before. Creep is so important. And wow, Polt getting in really on the creep, and all of his Marines going down to Banelings. And wow, ViBe may be able to hold this off, but does he have enough Banelings to kill off these Marines? He doesn't have any more left, and the Mutalisks are left to fend for themselves, and Polt may be able to just break through the rest of the Mutas. I think ViBe needs to pull back and wait for some more Banelings, but that is going to allow Polt to establish a position outside the natural.
Yes, but I
have
have to say,
gonna do it.
yeah, I have to say, ViBe traded extremely cost efficiently there. There was that key burst with the Banelings right here, took out a ton of Marines, and
What a blunder by Polt.
Yeah, I don't know what he was
spread at
paying attention to. He may have been his attention may have been focused elsewhere. Polt certainly not known for making those sorts of mistakes, but nonetheless, he is going to start sieging up on creep. I imagine him that he's going to scan and take out a few of these creep units before he starts pushing forward his bio forces. Nice job, these mutas picking off reinforcements though.
Another mistake by Polt here. You never want to reinforce one by one as a Terran player against Zerg. You need to send them in little packs and little groups, convoys, if you will. Maybe Polt just feeling a little like, you know, my reinforcing distance is so short, I'm just going to send them one by one. Don't necessarily need to take the cautious route, But ViBe capitalizing on that, picks off a couple Marines, and it looks like he also picked off a tank right there
Yes,
as well.
he did.
So that's huge. ViBe is holding on very well.
Yep, and it looks like ViBe being on 3 base with the macro hatch is going to be able to produce enough units to at least equalize here, but there's pretty good spread on these tanks. There's a good number of Marines that are behind this as well. It's going to be harder for Mutalisk to engage, and ViBe's just not going to need to wait until he can get us around. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to hold out for 1-1 to finish, because Polt's going to be a little bit too aggressive. In fact, he's probably going to start picking up with these medevacs and ferrying troops onto the high ground here. And it looks like those mutas are once again picking off reinforcements, although ViBe did lose a couple of mutas there.
Yeah, he did lose a couple mutas. I think it was a fair trade right there. ViBe is doing whatever he can to stay in this game right now. Polt continuing to reinforce to this effort to attack the natural expansion. And look at how many lings and blings are waiting just right here to take out this this attacking party. I don't think you should send the lings in though, or the blings, because those tanks are on the low ground and they are ready and sieged up to attack. ViBe is just waiting for a big enough pack of Mutalisk to make his strike work. I think he's got enough to break this right now. I don't know why he's hesitating.
And hesitating he is, though he wasted a couple of mutas there. I understood his idea to go ahead and waste as few units as possible, but now he's within range of a couple of the siege tanks. It looks like he's going to try and break this, though, moving up, and there's no way for Optimus to go ahead and split his Marines. They're forced into a corner, so the Banelings are going to trade very cost-effectively. There are a bunch of Marines that are reinforcing over here on the right-hand side, but there's enough Banelings left over that so many of those units are critically low. ViBe did break that position.
But all the meanwhile, it looks like Polt was dropping right into the natural, killed off a lot of drones, or at least drove them away. Now ViBe coming back with his needle is going to be able to kill that off. Meanwhile, at the front door of the Terran player, we have a bunch of lings, but they run into an erected wall of supply depots, completely negating the counterattack. But the lings will find that expansion on the top side, forcing the liftoff of the command center. Not bad at all by ViBe, and ViBe is taking a huge amount of control in this game, just in the fact that he held off that dreaded 2-base push from Polt, and now he has map control. He can get that 4th expansion down. He can prevent the 3rd from going up here on Tal'Darim because it's so wide open. I think that Polt is in a lot of trouble. However, ViBe needs to make sure he produces more Banelings, because this is a situation a lot of times when Zerg players are like, oh, I'm so far ahead, I'm not going to produce any Banelings, and then a huge pack of Marines comes out, and then you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but this command center going down is actually very, very big.
Oh, no!
Oh, and he got a really good burst with the Banelings as well, which means he was able to take down enough forces to justify the cost of Zerglings and Banelings as well, so very nice job. Like we were saying before, though, ViBe is in complete and utter control of this game. Yeah. Optimus is almost mined out on his main. He's got pretty good saturation over here on his natural as well, but now he's going to have to watch out for these pesky counterattacks from all these mutas.
Time to see how Optimus Prime pulls out of this situation. He is Optimus for a reason, and guess what? He's building the Transformer itself, the Thor. Certainly going to help against those Milos, going to force him to unclump and not, be able to surgically strike Marines and tanks. But we'll see if Optimus can pull out of this situation. He is making another push. I love this, actually. Too many Terrans, after they lose their big army, they're too scared to push out. Polt says, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to do it anyways. And this puts a high amount of pressure on the Zerg player to perform. We'll see if ViBe is going to be able to hold off the second wave.
God, but there's enough +1 mutas there that he's able to take out siege tanks in one shot. So that's actually significantly weakening his opponent's position. Optimus is going to have to do something to defend this next wave of aggression, though, because ViBe has just been going up and up and up and up in bases, and soon enough, a 4-base Zerg is going to crush the 2-base Terran.
My goodness.
Here we go. Zerglings running it along with the Banelings, and the Banelings take out a good number of Marines, but that was a pretty good split that time from Optimus. Finally, this Thor coming up. Very nice collector edition Thor, nonetheless. Very nice, Optimus. That Thor is going to go down pretty quickly, though, and ViBe has once again overrun his opponent's army.
Yeah, it looks like ViBe here may actually have the advantage, and enough of one to force a GG out of Polt, and ViBe takes out Polt in game 2. Very unexpected here. I am thrilled that ViBe was able to do it, and ViBe may have a chance of knocking out Polt in Qualifier 2. That is huge news.
Yeah, we're going to find out, though, because Polt, it is going to be his map choice here for game number 3. We'll head to that in just a second.